We've talked a lot about INFJs being misunderstood, but mainly about INFJs being underestimated. And we're being underestimated because people have just never seen the range of our power. They have never seen the range of our restraint. They have never seen what it actually means for us to choose ourselves. But when you start taking steps towards your unique and personal power, it will shock people. And I will tell you this, like if you're on the cusp of taking the next step, every single time you do this, people will be shocked. Every single time people will be flabbergasted. Like I've seen people in my closest surroundings, like my mother, like saw parts of me probably like in November when all of this happened. Never seen it before. Like every single time you take a step into more sovereign territory, even the people who might think they know you the best will be shocked. And so this is a little bit of a preview for you taking the next step, but it's also something once you know it, you can kind of like anticipate it, and it becomes just something fun to watch. And you can just say, like, I know it shocks you, but you'll be fine. Like, get used to it. It's all good. So today we're talking about 5 things INFJs do that shock others once INFJs step into their power. Before we get started, one last reminder, we currently have a promotion on the audio guide. It's an Easter promotion, $50 off. So you can get that until tomorrow, Easter Monday. Everything you need to know you can find through the link in the description. Number 1, you walk away from long-term relationships. So this isn't even necessarily that you leave that person in a way of I'm going to burn that bridge or I'm going to remove myself, I'm going to move somewhere. But people don't know what it means when your energy is not tuned into them. So if you meet somebody, we naturally start attuning our energy towards people when we haven't chosen ourselves, right? And if this is the version of you that they have known, the more you actually choose yourself, the less they're going to feel connected with that because they can't really walk with you. So if I meet somebody new, for example, so let's say a neighbor, and we get along really well, there's not going to be that tension because that person doesn't know me the way I was 10 years ago when I aligned myself to other people, where I bend, all of that. They just know the version of me today. And so there's no problem, right? This is clean energy, all is great. But people, and I've seen this with friends who I've known for, decades, and we've been really close. And at some point, like, it just doesn't work. Like they're not going with you and you don't really bend yourself anymore. You just leave. And this is an energetic leaving, right? Before, you're always the one who's bending for them, still leaving a door open. And when you really leave, as in you say, I'm detaching my energy from this, like I'm going to be here. And if you want to meet me here, great. Like you can be in your sovereign energy, I'll be in mine, and we can meet, but I'm not making myself smaller, bending, or doing anything to reach out to you. And that doesn't mean that the other person has to be as sovereign in their energy or as established as you. Not at all. But I have friends who I've known for 20 years, like people that I've grown up with. My best girlfriends to this day, we have such a unique bond. But there are also, friends that I have that, things couldn't develop this way. Like it just didn't work. And it's on me to then say, sorry, I can't fuel that kind of dynamic as it used to before. You can meet a new version of me and we can meet there. But the old version of me that you're trying to hold on to, because that's the only version that you accept me as, not happening. And people don't expect you to do this because we're so good at holding on to that version. Like we can really hold on in order to keep that connection. And sometimes you just have to say, sorry, this is who I am now. And I've done this with my closest family members. Like till this day, like I have, relationships with people in my really closest family that they still don't know completely who I am, but I'm not the same person that I used to be with them before. Like I really had to make a cut and said, this is who I am, either accept it or we can't be psychologically close. And people adapt to that. But it really starts with you walking away from that dynamic, not feeding a dynamic that is based on the person you used to be or the person that you pretended to be, right? You're going to choose you. You're going to be your essence that it currently is. And if that means you're walking away from a dynamic, then that be it. Because people will not see the difference. They will not understand it until you're gone. And it's nobody's fault. Like, I really encourage you, please don't ever make people feel bad. Like, why didn't you see what I was doing for you? How are they supposed to see it? It's like, I can't see that I'm breathing right now until somebody takes the breath out of me. Like, it's just there. Like, you can't make people see this. It's nobody's fault. So just know, choose you. And the more you do this, as I said, when I meet people now, there is no tension like this, because this version of me, that's who I am. This is who I'm going to be. Even if I develop, it's still going to be that version. I'm not making myself smaller. I'm not bending myself. And you will lose some people on the way. And it's just a price that has to be paid. And you still leave the door open. Like, I have girlfriends that are very close and dear to me that right now we don't have that close of a bond. And it's okay. Like, I leave the door open. I still reach out on their birthdays and stuff like this. But, there's just this unspoken thing of, I can't give more. Like, that's all I can give. And I'm not going to go 70% if you can go only 30. I respect where you are in your journey, and there's a lot of love, but I'm still walking away from that dynamic if it's not based on the person that I currently am. And number 2, you go public with things that normally you would hide. So I'll give you a very good example for this. So this is something I did already many years ago. I had a friend, or I still have that friend, but she had like always the specific thing about me posting songs. Like, she looked at it from a political standpoint. So let's say I would post a song about El Chapo, right? And for me, that song was all about sovereign energy, and like, it made me feel good, and I felt like in my element, and I loved it. From her perspective, it was like, how can you support somebody like that? Like, this is glorifying, a monster, so to say. I understand where she's coming from, and for the longest time, this would have been one of the reasons why I would have hidden that part of me. But the truth is, that's not how I look at it. That's not what I'm doing. I'm like not even thinking about that aspect. I'm doing this because this in itself allows me to express myself in a way that I cannot do in any other way. And so this was something that I started to show that is part of me that I need. And I said, if this is a reason for her to leave me, then that be it. And so through that, we had conversations, and she talked to me and she said, I don't like this, and why you're doing this. And similar situations where she just saw that I was friends with another person that she wasn't totally cool with. Like, I just revealed more of who I am. And although there was tension, at some point she came around and she understood, okay, well, that's who Wenzes is. Like, she just looks at life differently. She focuses on other things, and she can still have acceptance for all of those things. And then the choice is hers. She can decide, is this somebody that I can keep in my life? And if that is a person I can keep in my life, I decide. So she decides how close she can be in my vicinity, like psychologically speaking. But I'm not taking that choice away from people by already saying, oh, they're not going to like this. They're not going to like that version of me. So I'm going to hide that and make other people more comfortable. The more you reveal those things about yourself, the more you're actually telling yourself, I'm okay if you don't like me, because this is who I am and I like myself. And this is one of those shocking things that INFJs start to do the more they get into power. We reveal things about ourselves that people might not like. And I've done this, like, as I said, like, particularly now, the whole thing in November, like my mom, like seriously, my mom was probably the person the most where I saw, I'm showing parts of me that she doesn't like. And I don't think she's ever seen those. Like, she didn't want me to be like this publicly. She didn't want me to be like this towards her. And it was like, that's just who I am, Mom. Like, I can't be everything that you want because I'm not you. And like, let's just deal with it. And it was a great thing. And I don't think it was her fault. Like, she never accepted me or anything like this. It's just, there were parts of me that I just kept hidden, and I'm not hiding them anymore. And this is also not something you do from 0 to 100, right? This is like gradual things. But through that, I just recognized, okay, this was also a part that she wasn't aware of. Otherwise, she would have, adapted herself or like had an opinion about it earlier or whatever it is. It was just something I didn't show. So this is one thing people are going to be shocked by, and just take it with a grain of salt. Like, people will be okay. They will get over it. And like, they might not understand you, but they don't have to understand you. At some point, they just are going to accept you, or they're not. And most likely, hopefully, I really hope that for you, that your closest family will accept this about you, but that you're also going to be okay with tension for a while, and that even if it comes down to it, you still choose your truth over any version of yourself that might be acceptable to others. The third thing is you hold silence with confidence, not avoidance. So often people think that we being quiet means that we are avoiding or we're passive or we're insecure. But it really comes down to what we say and when we say it. You can be the calmest person in a room. You can be the person who doesn't say a word, but when you speak, it moves mountains. It really speaks volumes because you're not just saying anything to fill up the space. Like, you're totally okay with silence around you. You don't need to explain yourself. But when you say something, it will land. And if we know that this is how we operate and we don't apologize for it and we actually say it out loud when the time comes. So when you see an injustice happening, when you see somebody not respecting you, when you, like, whatever you do, in that moment you speak your truth. And in other situations, you're okay with people thinking whatever they want. The more you really tap into your power and you choose your path and all of that, you're totally okay with that. Like, I really know that so many people have absolutely no idea who I am, totally underestimate me. I'm totally invisible to them. And I really don't care. Like, I honestly don't care, because when you know something about yourself, you don't need to explain it to anybody, right? Maybe you want one person to know, but that's it. Like, you're okay. Like, it's not intrinsically necessary, and you're just not interested in people understanding that. So really owning your silence and knowing that silence is actually power, that you speak when you have something to say, and other than that, you're good with like leaning back and observing the situation. That's like your superpower. So your stillness really becomes your power move. And the fourth thing, and this actually plays into number 3, is when you see clarity, you act. You're not overthinking it. You're not taking a second look. When you know right now is the moment that I can trust my intuition, you do it. Right? So this is really a combination of both of those areas. Instead of constantly checking what's the vibe of the room, what are people doing, do I need to adapt? No, my normal operational mode is I'm like in silence. And when I speak, it's because there's intention behind it. And when I see now is the time and now is the moment, then I speak because I know I can hold it, right? This is the whole thing. We speak when we know that what I say, I can stand behind it even if nobody understands it. Right? And this is something you practice. Like, I can walk into a room and say, I'm not going to allow that person to be bullied. Like, I see that and I'm going to speak up. And it doesn't matter if people tell me then, like, who do you think you are? Or like, mind your own business. Like, I know this is injustice and I'm going to speak out about it. And that's it. I'm not saying that's always the right move. Like, let's say you're in a situation where you know that person is going to like be physically aggressive towards you. Like, there's like dangerous people out there. Of course, like, be careful what you do. But just as an example, there's so many situations where we shy away because of the energetic and verbal reaction we might get. And when you know that you're going to be okay, like, you can hold on to your truth. Like, you're going to be okay, even if people call you whatever they want or think whatever they want about you, you can really go home whole and like, I did the right thing. Like, you're golden. And that's what happens that shocks people, right? When you're willing to stand in your truth without apology. And that includes vulnerability, that includes power, that includes like self-love and also confidence, like all of that. The more you can embody that and be okay that when it's time, when it's appropriate, you're going to reveal that, you're good to go. But it's going to shock people. So just be aware of that. So give people time to adjust, right? Like, even with my family, like people who are, the closest in my life, like, I just revealed parts of me that I knew were going to shock them. I didn't expect so often that it will shock them that much. And, sometimes it was hurtful, but like, give people time to adjust to that. Like, and I'm talking about give them like a couple of months. Like, it's not something where you expect, oh, I'm going to reveal that truth. And if my best friend doesn't react right away in the sense of, oh, you're totally accepted, that this friendship is doomed. Like, just give them time to really let that sink in. Because if it's something that triggers them, people really have to first absorb it, go through it, and kind of like integrate it, whatever has to happen. So give them the time, give them the grace in that moment. But you can only do this if you're not dependent on their reaction. So that's what I'm saying. Your stillness becomes your superpower. And then When you know this is who I am and I stand behind this 100%, like no matter if not one person on earth sees it the way I see it, that's how I see the world, that's how I see life from this current perspective, and I can stand behind my actions and my words, you're golden. But trust me, it will shock people because very few people are able to do this. And number 5, you stop absorbing, your presence becomes directional. So this is all about, instead of taking on everybody's emotion and emotional states and their energy when you get into a room, you're not absorbing that and adapting to the room, you're the one who sets the tone. So it's always the person who has the most sovereignty in their energy who will really set the tone of the room. And this can really be something that is not even that loud. So when I go into rooms, I bring calmness, I bring excitement, happiness. Like I just make it a point that this in itself is part of my energy. And I'm not doing this in a way of like really putting energy into it. It's just I've been on this journey for so long. I've been doing this for such a long time, and so precisely, like my entire life is built around this. You really have to think about it. I'm not like the average person. I've dedicated my life to this. So this comes really easy to me. But there's always a way you can lean more into this. But just as an example, think of me. So I go into a room and by default, everybody around me starts relaxing because I'm uplifted, because I just am. I'm not doing this on purpose. I'm just uplifted. I'm in a good mood. I'm in a good space. And people start relaxing around me. I'm not somebody who, adapts my energy to fit the 6 people that are in the room. I come there and I bring my own energy. And if there's somebody with stronger and better energy, well, guess what? They're going to take over naturally. This happens. This is not a question of, choosing it. But I'm not making myself smaller in order not to trigger people. And also, I'm not shying away from taking responsibility. This is a typical thing INFJs do, and I've done this many times. Like to this day, I don't like to throw parties. I never have. But even like my 30th birthday party, I remember was like amazing. It was like this 1001 nights theme and it was amazing. But it was like just this one time thing because it's like a lot of energy for me to hold that space. This is not my natural forte. But when you take on the role of I'm going to maintain the energy, you take on responsibility. So if people are not happy with it, you will feel like, it's not good, or like I feel bad about it. So I understand where this hesitation comes from. But if this is just who you are and you just exude energy because it comes out of you, that's just how you roll. And this will shock people who are not used to this, who have not seen this side of yours. Once you actually, show up, like maybe who have not experienced your energy in a long time, and now you've become this version of yourself, it will shock them. But they will be okay. Like, again, give them time. Like, don't expect them to directly accept it, but they will come around. And again, they still have the choice to say, this is too much energy for me, I need to step out. At the same time, I cannot go in all rooms. I told you about this. I can't really watch trash TV. So if I would go into a room full of people who are all about, ego games and superficial things, like I will not want to put myself in this situation. This is not a room I want to influence. So also know your lane. Why would I want to be in that situation? I have to adapt too much. I'm not comfortable in this situation. So always think about what is the next step I can take that will lead me into a space that is more in alignment with who I am and where my natural gifts can shine, where I feel the best, where I can have the influence that I want to have, and really uplift the people around me. Remember, if you want some insights, how to get that journey started. So the moment when you say, I'm going to start taking action in the real world, right? I'm going to anchor in who I know in my mind to be so far. I'm going to start building upon that, right? Like really starting to carve out a path for yourself. That's what the audio guide is all about. So this is a circular formula. So it's really like you take a step and then you continuously take those circles. So it's like a spiral, you can imagine. That's how the audio guide is set up. So if you're interested in that, as I said, we currently have an Easter promotion, $50 off. You can get it through the link in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.